Hello, good afternoon, everyone. This is our presentation on case 1, which is balancing the workload. I hope you all enjoy our presentation. Our group members are Coral, Kazi, Piaget, myself Surbhi, and CL. Now, Kazi would be summarizing the case in short for you guys, which is balancing the workload, so that you have an idea of what the case is all about.
Hello everyone, I'm Kaji Asnain and today I like to talk about the case, and the name of our case is balancing the workload. The school name is Northeast Elementary School, School of Principal. The name of the principal is JBR Morgan. Teacher's name Mr. Terrell, Mrs. Rodriguez, Mrs. D. Emilio and Steve. This year number of students enrolled 14 and 10 of them needs special needs. Position of the school, it's considered the best school in the city. As it is considered the best school in this city, so parents are willingly try to enroll their children in this school, including with dyslexia, autism spectrum, ADHD, ADD, behavioral and learning disabilities as well. Every spring, the third grade teacher like to meet with the second grade teacher because of it helps the third grade teacher to teach smoothly, and definitely it's important to know their previous history. Mr. Terrell is a teacher, one of the teachers. His responsibility to accommodating the student based on their optimal learning environment. He is good enough with advanced students, but guardian or parents are not happy who needs extra care because he is not up to the mark with extra care children. On the other hand, Mrs. Rodriguez has excellent skill in working with the disabilities or extra care students, and she debuted her masters in this area. But next February, because of she will take in the maternity leave. However, Mrs. D. Emilio has 10 years experience and is also good enough with the extra care student, but she had a passing very hard time, has been passing very hard time because of last year her two students died in accident. Mr. Morgan, the principal of the principal, Mr. Morgan, called a meeting to distribute the students among the teachers and send them the documents. But the teacher were not happy willingly to take their students, and Steve, one of them, create a question about Mr. Morgan leadership. So that's the sum of the case.
Dear professor and my classmates, I'm taking the responsible for the first part. So I'm saying the most important facts of this case. So the first point I want to say and want to share is about the Northwest Elementary School is regarded as the best in the city, so that many parents want their children to be registered, especially those children with learning disabilities. And this Northwest Elementary School is located in the district, uh, in a public district, and this district is have the choice and have the opportunity to let their parents to choose choose the school by themselves. Maybe the school they want to choose is not the neighborhood, is not near, so the parents have the right to do so. And the second point is the teachers will take a lot of time to divide the students with meeting the expectation of social and behavior balance because the learning environment is extremely vital. Some students, if they do not arrange the properly, they will like ruin the learning environment in the classroom. So that is too bad. Let's see the third point. The third point is the Northwest Elementary School will have 14 new students in grade 3, 10 students with special needs. And there are some excellent teachers with great skills of working with students who have special needs like Mrs. Rodriguez and Mrs. D'Amelio. They always have many skills to help students, maybe talk to their parents to help the students with special needs better. So they made efforts to help them. On the other hand, there is one teacher also with 17 years of teaching, and he is having difficulties with being together with those students. Maybe different teachers will have different capacities to react to special needs students, despite the fact that they are trained with same level professionally. And the last point I want to say is there is a conflict between the teachers and school leader, Mr. Morgan. Mr. Morgan wished the teachers to choose the student to their classes, but Mr. Terrell doesn't want to pick up the students with knowing nothing, just the names of the students on the list. And Mr. Terrell worries about choosing students without acquaintances, and Mr. Morgan wishes the teachers to take responsibilities of choosing students and being teaching leaders. So that is all my part here.
Hello, this is CR presentation. So this is my part about the second questions. What are the 2 or 3 potential actions possible for the administrator to take? So I think the main problem of this case is that the school superintendent and the teacher have different thinking when they make decisions. And the school superintendent and the teacher think from different perspective when they make decisions. Therefore, in this case, Mr. Trill does not want to teach students who need special need requirements, and the principal out of the considerations for the whole school and the development of students. And the thinking is that the Mr. Turrell should not make the intuitive decisions, but rather make the retention decisions when selecting the student. So the answer, this question's answer is teachers do not treat every student equally when assigning students to class that are different based on their gender, behavior, and achievement. Teachers have the ability to accept every student in the classroom and do not differentiate students from others because of the whether or not they are different. Teachers should engage every student in classroom the learning. That's all.
Moving forward, now Coral will discuss the potential outcomes from the case discussion.
Hello guys, I want to talk about 2 or 3 potential outcomes of this case study. First, I want to start with the most important issue which hit me due to my own experiences. Having senior and let's say experienced teachers in a school has always been a great issue. Like I had this issue back in my home country as well, as I was a teacher there. First off, they have been trained and taught in different like educational system, different areas, different situations, and they are well educated. But on the other hand, having them beside young teachers would be a little bit tricky. Seniors, so the first issue is that seniors tend to have kind of less patience, having bossy manners, and trying to manipulate principles and rules of a certain educational system. And as you know, Mrs. Rodriguez was at this school for just for about 5 years, but she has more creative ways of teaching and better skills as she's kind of more passionate about what she's doing there, and she knows better how to take care of her the students with disability because she got a master's in this thing. Another thing is that as Mr. Terrell is trying to challenge the principal's leadership, Mr. Morgan, the leader or the principal, sorry, needs to clarify that his leadership is not autocratic, and he doesn't want to be seen as an authority figure. And he always tries to ask his teachers for the possible solutions. So he doesn't want to be bossy. And another thing is that as Mrs. Amelio is taking maternity leave, as we discussed earlier, more of the students with issues will be on Mrs. Rodriguez's responsibility, and this issue shows the lack of Mr. Morgan's decision making skills in a school as a principal. And about the shocking reaction, it's my last issue. It's my last point. Is that Mr. Terrell had that shocking reaction, and due to the parents complaining about him as a tough teacher and not considering a student's needs, it might be a good decision to suspend him for a while, kinda, and offer him like more teaching skills and training to get a better understanding of these kind of schools and these kind of students at the schools. They are not normal students. Yes, Mr. Terrell was with advanced students, but with this kind of students, he lacks a little bit. And yes, for sure, he might get angry, and it's a possibility that he might go for a resign. He might resigns, and like after 17 years he might go for a resign. And as you can decide whether he actually you can't decide at the end of the case study, you can decide whether he wants to be bossy towards Mr. Morgan as a principal, or he's neutral about the students and he really doesn't care about them. So that was my part. Thank you.
After discussing the whole case in much length, I would now be presenting you the conclusion of the case. I would be further discussing what the leadership style was, how was it managed in this school scenario, whereas how it should be managed in an actual school scenario. The distributive leadership style can be seen in this elementary school, which was performed by the principal of the school, who was Mr. Xavier Morgan. His staff included Mr. Terrell, Mrs. Rodriguez, and Mrs. D'Amelio. The components of his leadership model that we could notice in this case was that he was sharing responsibilities amongst his staff members, whereas he was drifting away from his positional authority, not taking the lead role but rather compromising with everyone to come on a single outcome. The main objective for Mr. Morgan and his teachers is to achieve an inclusive classroom that could accommodate the 10 students with special needs. But the principal wanted to make sure that these children get the teachers with great skills, yet wanted a comfort for the teachers too to be able to manage such kind of a classroom throughout the year. On the other hand, Mr. Terrell was not at all in agreement with Mr. Morgan. Strong leadership is essential, and school leaders and administrators play an important role in implementing inclusive practices in their schools. Principals and other staff in leadership positions must know what procedures are involved and how to organize employees to carry out such procedures effectively. Promoting inclusive practices in a school involves not only the principal's beliefs about inclusive practices, but also how those beliefs are translated into practices. Building collaborative relationships among employees can be difficult and requires management support, role definition, and constant planning. Therefore, the job of a leader for effective management is to give directions and the end goals. Leaders drive teachers, and in return, teachers drive students towards that goal. In a nutshell, our case, balancing the workload, is representative of a very contemporary issue which might arise every year in any school. However, as a leader, it is not only important to manage the school staff and the resources, but it is also very crucial to inculcate and adhere to the issues and policies like in inclusion and diversity, student-teacher ratio, preferences of staff and the parents, society and cultural competence, amongst the many others. These are a list of the references that we used for this case study analysis. Thank you so much everyone for your time and patience while watching this video.